Hi there! Welcome to Adventures in Visibility. Today is a really exciting day because we are going to be talking with three of the authors of the brand new book, Success Secrets of the Online Marketing Superstars. I was about to say online visibility superstars. I'm always talking about online visibility. But no, they're online marketing superstars, but they're also really highly visible people too. So you're going to learn some of their pro tricks. I'm Denise Wakeman, your host and guide to better visibility on the web. And today we're going to be focusing on the content, some of the content from Mitch Myerson's 11th book, which is, as I mentioned, Success Secrets of the Online Marketing Superstars, which you can get now at onlinemarketingsuperstars.com. It's on Amazon. And while we're talking today, I invite you to tweet your ahas or all those little pithy comments that my guests will be making, all their little golden nuggets. And if you'll use the hashtag Online Superstars, it may get picked up by Entrepreneur Magazine, Entrepreneur Press, because they are the publishers of the book. I also want to congratulate Mitch and all the authors because the book has hit bestseller status in multiple categories over the last couple days. It just dropped or published or whatever they call it for a book on Tuesday, the 10th. So congratulations, Mitch, and my fellow authors. So today I have invited Mitch Myerson, who's the curator and one of the authors of the author of the book, my very dear good pal Stepan Hovnanian, who I think this is his 5th appearance on my show, and another good friend who I've collaborated with in the past, Andrea Vall, who's a Facebook marketing expert. So welcome, one and all. I'm so glad to have you here. This is the second in our series of Hangouts this week. Tomorrow there'll be another one that is hosted by Ryan Handley and featuring Mitch again, because he's the superstar of the book, as well as Lou Bortone talking about video and Jason Van Orden talking about podcasting. But that's tomorrow. Today it's all about Google. It's all about Facebook, and also about collaborative publishing and how you can get more attention for your business. So welcome. Thank you for being here with me today.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, super excited.
Okay, so because I have more guests than I usually do, my audience knows that I usually have like one person on and we just have a conversation between us. But since we have more than one, what I'd like to do is if you'll each go through and just give like a 1 or 2 minute little quick lightning round of what you do and what your chapter's about. So why don't we start with Andrea?
Okay, great. I'm super excited to be here. I have to say, I'm just going to say a little more because I'm just got the floor now. No,
yeah, go for it.
No, actually, I'm really, really honored to be part of this book. And I think I told Mitch this before, but when I was first starting my business, this was one of the early books I got, and it was I think it was one of your other series, Internet Marketing Superstars, or one of those ones, Mitch, that you had done earlier, and it had a few of my favorite people in it. So I went out and got the book, and I was totally inspired. I was just on fire and super excited about it. And it just is so humbling to me right now, a few years later, that I'm now a part of the book and have written a chapter. I just feel like it's, surreal. So I'm really excited to be part of the book. My chapter is all about Facebook marketing and how you can use it for your business. And really what we dive into there is some of the strategies that are working for businesses right now. It's really big into visuals. Video marketing is huge right now, especially, but visuals are still the name of the game on Facebook, and you got to have a visual strategy for reaching your audience, and they're just appear larger in the news feed, and they can be very, very engaging, shared really well. I also talk about strategies with Facebook advertising, and that's huge this year as well. You have to have an advertising strategy. You're going to have to boost your posts strategically. I suggest boosting certain posts only to your fans, using website conversion ads and conversion pixels to really measure the opt-in rate or a lead generation from your ads specifically. So there's a lot of great techniques in my chapter on how to make the most out of Facebook, and so that's what my chapter is.
Cool. We'll be diving into some of those things shortly.
Yeah.
Mitch, hi.
Hi, great to be here. My chapter's on website conversion because, as we all know, if you get traffic but nothing ever happens, it really doesn't pay off. But I'd like to focus in somewhere in the course of this call on how books can be a fabulous lead generator. Very succinctly, after I spent 10 years as a musician in my 20s and realized there was no money in that, Andrea can relate to the starving artist syndrome. Anyway, I got into psychology, and that's when I realized books could be an incredible credibility builder, great lead generator too. So I'm going to show you some examples in this call of actual pages in some of my books that were strategically put in for lead generation. Then after 15 years of psychology, 3 books, had a great run, went to the internet marketing world, and then things really kicked off because, as we all know, the old books didn't have the ability to link to the web. Once the web became the target, all of these books can be strategically placed so that people come to your website, affiliate links. So I'm going to show you examples of that, but I think for me, over the last actually 25 to 30 years, books have been the mainstay of my business, all published books, and it's been a great run. It's not as easy as it used to be, but that's another conversation. But Denise, once we get into details, I'll show you some of these case studies of how it played out in books.
Perfect. Thank you, Mitch. Thank you, Mitch. All right, Stepan.
Hey guys, thank you, Denise, for hosting this. I really appreciate it. It was fantastic having you on that yesterday as well. I really appreciate that. As you in helping my audience, was mostly business owners and things like that, understand a little more about visibility, and having Barb on yesterday talking about PR. It was fantastic. So also thank you, Mitch. I really appreciate the opportunity to do this. I know there's a lot of people out there that are talking about Google Plus because it's one of the newer networks out there, and to be able to represent Google Plus in this fantastic book is it's a big honor. And again, Denise, thank you for making the introduction, because without you, that would have not been possible. So here we are, full circle. And here's what. So the title of my chapter is Google Plus, a social media toolkit for every business. And what I mean by that is what we really get into are all the different things that the social network itself actually provides us. So we get indexed URLs, we have fantastic photo opportunities, things like that. There's a tremendous amount of tools that we can use to help teach Google more about us and our business and things like that. So we get into a lot of those pieces, and I think when you pull it all together and make it a part of your strategy, it extends the reach of your visibility more so than maybe just a walled garden, in all deference to Andrea and Facebook. But you can say the same thing about LinkedIn and in some cases even even Twitter and Instagram and some of the other ones, maybe just because they move so quickly. So that's what this is all about.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna get into a little throwdown match.
Okay, that's probably the way we got to go here, because we got the two competing, big boys there, the big girl and the big boy.
I marked my chapters up with colored Post-it notes. I used blue for Facebook and red for Google Plus because of the. There's always that red pill, blue pill discussion.
Yeah, here. That's right.
Okay, well, let's look at it this way. We are in what many people call an attention economy. We're competing for the attention of our audience, of our readers, of our viewers, of our listeners, if you've got a podcast, and the playing field is really crowded now. Everybody's a publisher, everybody's a content creator. So when we look at the platforms that we have available to us to grab that attention, we need to do it with strategy. We need to do it thoughtfully. So let's take our conversation in that direction, and if you want to throw down to each other, go for it. I'm going to be Switzerland here, and You know, I go for all of them. I'll just take all the platforms.
Sure, you and your blog and your
yeah, I just go for them all, you know. But so why don't we start with Facebook, because it's been around forever. It's the huge, it's the biggest platform out there, you know. And my question is, you know, that there's so much frustration around the difficulty being seen from a business page at this point, because we're talking to business owners here, we're talking to entrepreneurs, small business owners. You know, it's almost like I don't even know why I have a business page anymore. I mean, honestly, my reach is it sucks, to be completely honest. And yet I post every single day. I ask questions. I do video. I do pictures. I do everything. You know, the native links, the non-native links, you know, everything. I try everything. So how do we get seen? How do we manage that? How do we go for it?
So one of the things, that is a huge frustration. It is the question on everyone's mind these days. Is Facebook organic reach dead? Should we just give up? There's, you know, Copy Blogger had, Brian Clark, Sonia Simone, who are also in the book, had a kind of a high-profile exodus from Facebook. They deleted their Facebook page. And what I would recommend, and one of the issues I feel with Facebook is that they're showing you very concretely what the reach is. You don't know what your reach is on Twitter. You don't know what your reach is on Google Plus exactly. I mean, you know, you don't see those numbers the way you've seen them for the length of time you've seen them on Facebook. We all can see our reach going like this. And so it's frustrating, but I think you still have to think about the true effectiveness in what we're doing there, and you have to make sure that you're getting very strategic about moving these people over to your email list. And I'm actually recommending that people post less on Facebook, which is kind of refreshing because, you know, as content creators, we're always post. What am I going to post? Where am I getting this content? I'm recommending people post a little bit less on Facebook, but think about boosting those posts strategically and really figuring out that how you're going to funnel those people into your email list. And when you're boosting a post, you're going to boost it that goes directly to your blog, but then look at that blog post as far as how is that also working to convert people onto your list. Maybe you've got a pop-up. Maybe you have a call to action at the bottom that says, hey, did you enjoy this? Sign up for my newsletter, or sign up for my free thing, or I have this special offer for you. So we have to get smarter about what we're doing. I think it was the golden age of social media, and it was free reach for all and all kinds of stuff, but you know, it's changed, and so we have to get a little bit smarter about conversions, and we have to get more strategic about the type of content we're posting and what we're using ads for.
So you're saying that we need to look at the funnel a lot more carefully.
Exactly.
You know, if you will, that transference of your social network to your foundational online real estate, which is your blog site.
Yeah, and we're really, you know, think about I'm actually posting a lot less of other people's content and more of my own content. So you can reuse blog posts and post them again. One thing we were finding over at Social Media Examiner, when we would post a good article, sometimes the second time we posted it got more reach than the first and did better. So think about reusing that content, post more of your own, and get your funnel really tightly optimized so that you're getting people into your list. And the kind of cool thing about Facebook ads is that you can really track exactly who converts to your list, and you know what's effective. Right. So it's actually, I find it actually a little bit refreshing because you can really specifically track these things, and you don't have to post as much and things like that. So
okay, well, thank you. You've just relieved me of some of my busy work. I appreciate that. Okay, so Stepan, you're the Google Plus guy, and we met on Google Plus, and you know, I watched a video of you speaking with our mutual friend Chris Lang, and I immediately said, I got to know this guy, because what you were saying I just thought was so incredibly smart, and reached out, and the rest is history. That was like 2 years ago, I think. So what I'd like to know from you is, why do you call it a social layer? And how does it compare, say, to what you just heard from Andrea about, how to get seen on Facebook? How does it compare?
First off, I love what Andrea just said. That was awesome because, and yeah, it is reassuring, And the other thing I really liked about it was the emphasis on your own content. Thank you for that because I'm more of that kind of thing. I'm way more of a creator as opposed to a curator. So I really appreciate the fact that, it's encouraged a lot more over there. So yeah, Google Plus. Here's how I explain the whole social layer thing. For those of you guys who've been active, who are watching live or watching the replay, you'll know this. But Google Plus was designed originally to weave together all of its different products, and it's become embedded now in search. It's become embedded in Gmail, in Android, in the Play Store, in YouTube, in local maps. Like, it's become embedded in so much, and you got to really think. I've known that from the beginning. That's always been how I looked at it because I'm here for for business purposes to be able to advise companies on how to take advantage. But so look at Google Plus as a bigger part of your online presence, something that extends beyond just using it as a social network. So that's why it's been referred to as a social layer. I think that kind of makes a little bit more sense than a network itself because, again, it sits on top of or it weaves through a variety of different products. The other thing I would say about gaining some visibility on Google Plus is that, very similar to Twitter, it's an open asymmetrical network. So you can comment, you can find things that people are talking about that you have an interest in. You can comment on those things. You can build relationships with people, whether you're a person or a brand. And that's another really big advantage. Brand pages have the exact same capabilities that people do. And so you can really, especially if you're a solopreneur or a small business that really has a very humanized brand, you can go out there and comment and build phenomenal relationships with people right on their posts, and you don't have to friend them. They don't have to friend you first or any of that kind of stuff. So it's kind of a catalyst to building relationships because of how open it is and because of the fact we can have longer discussions than, say, on Twitter where we're limited in character, which can kind of get in the way of voice sometimes, let's face it.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, excellent. So do you have a counterpoint to that, Andrea, or is there anything?
No, I have no beef with Google Plus. I do like it. I think it's nice. It'd be nice if there were more people over there, but we're hanging over at Facebook. But
I don't know. I think there's an awful lot of people over here at Google Plus. I find it a very rich environment. But
it really is. I do like a lot of things about Google Plus with the communities and the and the connection. I think it's a great place to be too.
Okay. All right, Mitch. So, we're looking at social platforms, and then with you, we're looking at like the product that we are creating, ostensibly, whether it's an ebook or a physical book, and use those platforms can be supportive of that product. But before we get to that, I'd be really curious to know how, you've done a lot of these collaborative books now, like 5 or something like that, 4 or 5, and I'd be curious to know what was the impetus behind that and how you see that they serve us as business owners.
Absolutely. Give me 1 minute to set up books, and then I will get to collaborative books, which is your question.
Okay.
If we can go back in the Wayback Machine for publishing, right now we're all talking about conversion, how hard it is. It's all online. Everybody's going to Amazon. If I could take you back to my first book, it was called When Parents Love Too Much, 1990. This is 25 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
This book, and I'm not saying this to brag, I'm saying it out of sheer amazement, sold for $110,000 advance and in 24 countries. How did that happen? It happened because I just had the greatest idea at the right time with the right partner. But as it relates to conversion, this is before the internet. So I had all of these buyers. And what it says, because I had an instinct that you're going to try and get them to follow up, in the back of this book, there is a page that goes to my post office box in 1990 in Chicago, which of course doesn't even exist. And the book doesn't even exist anymore. So I had 3 psychology books, but then came the internet, okay? And we got to what Andreas said a few minutes ago, this first online marketing superstars book. It was in 2004. This had great people, the early people like Marlon Sanders and Robert Allen and J. Conrad Levitt, all those people. So I realized at that point the power of collaboration. Collaboration meant a few things. To the publisher, and these are all major publishers, they said, publishers have one thing in mind. Are you going to sell the book? And how many are you going to sell? And what are you going to do to market it? So if you ever want to get into publishing, have that question completely covered with a major publisher. They'll ask you. So they realized all of these people, just like in this book, are going to help promote it, the leverage, the power of collaboration, plus the beauty of all you guys throwing this fabulous content into one collection. Okay, but I realized, so you had some things converging, all great. Marketing power, great content, but for me as the person who created it, the publisher will give you the space in the back of any book that will allow you to do something like this. This is that old Superstars book. Free multimedia supers. This was a book from many years ago. So on the back page of every single one of my books, whether it was Guerrilla Marketing on the Internet, Mastering Online Marketing, there's some strategic spots. One which is a back page. You always get it. And I got to the point where I was pretty damn assertive about it. This is the back page of Mastering Online Marketing.
That's pretty assertive.
That's pretty assertive. But within the chapters, let's say you're making a point on a topic. Well, in all of your chapters, there's a link to your website. So you become the expert, and it links back to you. That's traffic flow from offline marketing, because these books are offline. They're physical. And what I've done in my books, on my very first Superstars book, I didn't do this on this one, just for the record. I had affiliate links from almost all of the superstars in their chapters. I created them. I bought them, registrar. This was in your first one. So I would be getting trickle-down income for years just through their affiliate. Now, this one I didn't do it. I mostly just have a toolkit at onlinemarketingsuperstars.com, 12 audios. But I spent the time to create 12 audios. You guys are in. So the conversion, just to answer your question succinctly, there's a lot of power to collaboration because there's multiple marketing and fabulous content.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you. You did also one on social media superstars, which I was also in, and I think that in my experience, I've been in a couple of collaborative books, three or four right now, but I believe that having the multiple authors really does help with the visibility, and I think that's a reason to do them for sure, to participate. When you get an invitation, go for it.
Yeah, what I love too about the multiple authors is writing one chapter is just so much easier than really doing the whole book, obviously. And now you can put this book on your author page on Amazon, and there's a lot of rising tide to lift all boats kind of thing here with the multi-author book.
Exactly.
I could just give one quick example here that is outside of online marketing and books. I created a program with a guy named Craig Valentine, who's a leader in the speaking industry, and we wrote a book, mostly his content, called World Class Speaking. So we certified a lot of world-class speaking coaches. So collaboration, we had them all submit chapters for a book called World Class Speaking in Action. These are 50 certified world-class speaking coaches with great content. When I created the Guerrilla Marketing program, I got a book on guerrilla marketing, but then I said, let's let all the guerrilla marketing coaches submit a chapter for guerrilla marketing in the front lines.
Great.
These are multiple examples of the same concept of, if you have a community of people, create a book idea, have them submit great content, feature them, and everybody
Exactly. Okay, so I want to quickly bring a comment up here from Tony Tomlinson, and I did see that it was answered by Andrea and Stepan in the comments, but I also wanted to just share it for the people who are watching the replay or some of those that might have missed this, because it's a great question. And he says, I have a question. In terms of Facebook and Google Plus posting, do you use any posting sites such as Hootsuite any preference. And maybe if you guys could just, Stepan and Andrea could just quickly shout out what your answers were so we can get it on the recording too, that would be really helpful as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I use Hootsuite a lot. That's my favorite Twitter tool, so I'm always on there. And Stefan mentioned Sprout Social, which is a great tool as well. But the thing that you have to worry about with Facebook is that natively uploaded images and videos do much better. And actually, I've seen, we were talking about video marketing a little bit, how large it is on Facebook now, what a big deal it is. And I've actually noticed that YouTube shared videos are getting much less reach. So yeah, it's really, you really want to have that natively uploaded video to Facebook. And even, so if you're thinking about a video strategy, you definitely want to upload it to YouTube, your video to YouTube for the search factor, but you want to also upload it natively to Facebook for the social factor. And it's going to get more reach, it's going to get seen and shared a lot more. And I personally think that Facebook is kind of purposely constricting the YouTube views. You know, of course they're not going to say that, but they're definitely getting more reach than YouTube. So using those tools are great if you have an appropriate time where you're going to, you know, maybe just share a link, or maybe it's just a text post, then it's okay to use Hootsuite to post to multiple places within Facebook. But I think if you could, as often as you can, upload it natively, and you can schedule your posts on Facebook. Right. So.
Can you just define native, just in case people aren't sure what that lingo is?
Great. So that means rather than in Hootsuite, if you had an image, you can upload it to Hootsuite, which would then, you know, kind of be on the Twitter platform, depending on how you are doing that. But if you were native, really means on the platform where you're posting it, and it's hosted there. So when you're using a photo, you want to upload it as a photo post specifically, and that means then it's native within Facebook. That photo is in your photos section on Facebook, and it's I think it just does better in terms of reach and visibility.
Perfect. Perfect. Do you want to quickly jump in, Stepan, about posting with third-party tools?
Yeah, sure. Like Andrea mentioned, I'm a big fan of Sprout Social, and just to keep in mind, as far as Google Plus goes, the pages are the only Google Plus pages are the only type of account that's allowed to post on using third-party tools. It's intentional. It's built that way. For those of you who want to try and schedule stuff, there's a Chrome extension called DoShare, which, you know, it's okay, but it's a bit of a work-around hack type thing. But yeah, it allows you. Well, anyway, the third-party tools are really just for pages. The only thing, and I mentioned this too in the comments, you know, the tricky part is to make sure, no matter what you're doing, anytime you get into any of these, you know, social media management discussions, make sure you're creating a post that's geared toward that platform. So if you're going to use Hootsuite or Buffer or Sprout or whatever to post to your page on Google Plus, you take advantage of formatting. So use the asterisks for bold and underscores for hyphens, underscores for italics. Nobody really does strike through unless you're trying to get sarcastic and funny. So I won't. That's a hyphen, but who really cares? Nobody does that. So asterisks for bold. You know, there's a bit of a trick if you want to plus mention somebody, which is not worth getting into right now. But I'm happy to share the link, and there's a couple of really good guides for how to do that. So that allows you to still use those tools and do them in a way that is very appropriate for Google Plus and the culture that's on Google Plus, so that people who see that post will respond to it. And unlike Facebook, we don't really have too much of an issue on G Plus with reach or anything like that. There may be just general issues in reach, but you know, it's not throttled or anything.
Okay, I'd like to move into how, you know, like specifics of how you're using the platforms that you know, are specifically most drawn to. Mostly because, you know, the thing about building a business on the web and, you know, getting visible is that you've got to be consistent. You've got to be active all the time, or at least, on a good portion of the time.
Like.
And, people don't like to hear that, but it's kind of true, And so I'd like to get a sense from you guys, what are your daily routines, whether it's on Facebook or Google Plus, or, I don't actually know what your preferred platform is, Mitch, but just if you could share that. Just give us a sense of how you guys are doing it, because you guys are the pros. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
I use G Plus for a couple of different reasons. For me, I feel like the platform lends itself really well to collaborating, to learning, and to networking. And then the marketing part kind of takes care of itself, because you're building a tribe, you're building a bunch of highly engaged people on your posts and things like that. But because of the ability to go out and kind of interact outside of your own little network, because Google Plus is part of Google, which does search pretty damn well. So you could search for things, you can search for hashtags, and so one of the things I'll do if I need to, I haven't had the occasion lately, but if I need to, I'll do searches in communities, or just try and find different topics of people that are talking about things that I have an interest in, right? And then I can go leave comments. I would say if you're trying to build visibility, this is one of, actually, I don't know if I can lay claim to this, but I think one of the more popular posts on Denise's website is an infographic of 10 visibility tips, which you guys should totally check out for Google Plus.
The most popular post on my site, yes.
What's up? And so number 2 is comment more than you post on that list, and I'm a huge believer of that. I think nobody can find out about you, nobody knows you exist unless you put forth that effort and you get out there, and you can, so use search, use communities. In communities you can actually search as well within the community, so do that, do hashtag search, and just try and find those discussions, right? So once you understand why you want to use it, find those discussions and start building rapport with people. Those guys will in turn come over to your profile to check you out, and assuming you've seeded your profile with some really good content, all the basic stuff that everybody writes about, have a great cover photo and about page and blah blah blah, format your post properly and whatnot. And if you're doing all that, that's like getting your house in order, and then you go out there and you start mingling with everybody. You'll find more followers, more engaged followers, and overall, you're just going to have better success with really whatever path you try and take, just because it, I don't know, it makes sense that way, to me at least.
Okay.
And the platform's good for it, too.
Who's next? Who wants to talk about your daily routine next?
I'll jump in, and I'm in a different place than a lot of you people. As you call me a curator at this point. The real truth is I've had a run of 15 years on the internet that was great. And I have a mailing list, so my mailing list is an asset for me. My partnerships, just a few key ones, whether it was with Jay Conrad Levinson on Guerrilla Marketing or Craig Valentine on World Class. So what I really do with my time at this point in my career, and we're all at different places in our career,
exactly.
I don't do a lot of social media. I just don't want to spend my time doing that at this point, but I've worked for years and years and years building mailing lists. So what I do is think, what's the most purposeful, meaningful, happy thing I could do with my life right now? And how can I have enough income to support that? I've been, mindful of that. So I stay in the game, but I just don't have that young energy of let's do social media all the time. But I'll tell you what I do like. I really like video and YouTube. YouTube is a place I live on more as a consumer. I just love the whole find anything with someone teaching you. And just as a side note, I was looking at YouTube for a singing teacher, okay? And so I found someone who just does this all right. She was sweet, she was warm, she was incredibly helpful. She had a whole set of related videos that had titles that were every title was, yeah, I want some of that, I want some of that. So I watched her for about a week, and I really liked her and got value. And of course, she got me on her mailing list, okay? She converted me, piece of cake. But do I have to give her money? No. But I know I'm going to give her money, because I like her so much. So I think this likability, personality factor, and Andrea, I know you're great at this because you put all of you are great at this. Mm-hmm. But I think more than that sales pitch and you can get more customers, do they like you? Are you saying something? And I think video is a great format to really get your personality to shine I see you nodding, Andrea. Do you feel that way as well?
Yeah, totally. It's really, I was at something I was really resonating with what you were saying, because I was just at an event that where the speaker said something that really kind of was something I had known, but never really heard articulated. And it really is. He said the information age is dead. You can find anything out there now. You can find any way to do something. It's all available. And what we are now is we're walking them through the process. We are their guide, their personal guide, and that's why they want to do business with us. And it's like you said, you're going to give that woman money, and it's so true. Even though you could find everything you want, but it's just about being in that community with that person and really getting some more personal, focused guidance.
The ability factor is really huge. I think in Brian Clark's chapter, the New Rainmaker chapter 1 in the Superstars book, he really talks about being a trusted, likable expert. And that likability, if we're sitting there being digital all the time, we kind of sometimes lose that interest of the human connection.
Well, yesterday when we were on Stepan's hangout, and Barbara Rosgani was representing PR, and she had a great reframe of PR, which was personality plus reputation.
Yeah.
And we had a great discussion. So anybody who wants to go listen to that discussion, definitely, Stepan, maybe you'll put the link. You can put the link in the comments here, in the comment section, because it was a really good discussion about why you need to look at how you are coming across on the web. Like, who are you, and how is it the real you, or is it some fake you that you're trying to be some persona that you're not? And that it was a big shift, for me, and I think for a lot of people are going through that now. So I want to get back to Andrea, because I want to know what your routines are.
Yeah,
you can follow up.
I'm just going to say the Grandma Mary is the real me. So.
Okay.
I'm just, getting into that. No. So yeah, I think that I've been thinking about this as we've been going through, and I feel like my routines have been a little bit off the last couple of weeks, and I think we all get there where it's just you're busy. I've been really busy creating content for programs, and then the social media suffers, and it's all a continuum of where we are in our business. And so right now I haven't been posting as much as I normally do, but what I've been focused on is just making sure I'm visible with other things, like providing good content available where I'm doing webinars, we're doing hangouts. So I haven't been blogging as much, but just trying to post valuable things where I can connect with people like this. And I think that's always good to do. But usually my routine is to try and focus on what kind of content I've got coming out for the next week. I do some guest blogging, I do my own blogs, and figure out where I'm going to put that content and then how I'm going to vary it. So I like to mix it up between video blog posts and images, and then some text posts too on Facebook, as well as even Twitter, and I definitely post more on Twitter, but like I said, I've been posting a little bit less on Facebook, and then another just once a day really on my Facebook pages. And then a lot of times what I'm also doing is bringing that conversation over to my personal profile. I've been using Facebook groups a lot more to connect in there with people, and I think that that's a really visible place to be for businesses and business owners. So the one challenge with Facebook groups, and this is the same thing with LinkedIn groups and Google Plus communities, is that you do join as your personal profile. Some people want to join as their page, and put more of the business front on their Facebook activity. But I like mixing it up between the page and the profile, and you can still control your privacy on your profile really well. I try and make sure that no pictures of my kids go out to everybody. They just are going out to friends, and you can just check on that, or you can even have smaller lists that they go out to. So that's kind of my routine, is just to make sure I'm mixing up my content throughout the week and strategically placing those list building activities in there as well.
You know, you brought up about groups on Facebook, and I'm wondering if you've noticed a trend, which I've been kind of seeing, and I don't know if I've just seen it or if other people have, of moving from the page to having a group.
Yeah.
So a business saying, forget the page anymore. I'm just going to have a group that's around my topic.
Yep, for sure. That is definitely a trend. I've seen that happen quite a bit. Some large pages I've seen open up their Facebook group as well for a community place. And some of the things you have to be aware of if you are considering doing that, you really have to moderate a group much more than a page, because your Facebook page, when someone comments on it, it doesn't like go out to the whole group. So whereas a group, if someone comments within the group, it goes out to the whole group and it's more visible. So a lot of times people have to hire a moderator just to manage that once the group gets to a certain level, or change the openness, if it's open or private or whatever, if anyone can join. So if you are considering a group, they are more visible in the Facebook news feed, so that's a big thing. You can have multiple moderators for that to help you with comments, and you want to have some really good group rules around what can be posted and what can't be posted, because a lot of people join groups just to spam them with their sales messages.
Right. Just speaking of groups, I know, Stepan, that you moderate a couple of communities, right? Don't you? Didn't I see something about that your Google Plus Business for Business has like 50,000 members now or something like that? It's like amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, I have. So a couple of interesting things about G Plus communities. You can, a page can set one up. A page can own it, and a page can interact and things like that. I think the general culture, at least that I've seen, is what Andrea is saying, is that the people want to connect with each other as opposed to with the pages themselves. A couple of things, a quick little tip you can do is if you share a post to your page that you want to introduce into the community, is that you could share your post, share your page's Google Plus post, and share it into the community. Just make sure that you're you're representing the fact that this is something my company is putting together, and just do it in a way where you're adding value, because a lot of times the culture on G Plus is generally like, okay, the community is for the community, it's not for promotion, and you don't want to overstep your bounds. Those kinds of things get spammed, get flagged as spam and things like that. So, but it is very effective, and it's a way to kind of introduce your page without without posting as your page. So that's it's one tip there. Yeah, I own the Google Plus for Small Business community. We just hit. There's only a couple of really good Google Plus centric communities for business. Plus for Business is another one. It's shifted focus a little bit more into an actual learning program. But between the two, between us, I think we are over 50,000 members now, which is insane. But I also get a tremendous amount of spam. And Google's great about putting things into a spam queue. We have about 4 or 5 moderators now, and we empty it pretty regularly. But once in a while, something finds its way through. So to Andrea's point, yeah, it's tricky. A friend of mine, and actually last time I was on, we brought my friend Lori Lejour on to Denise's show, and we talked about. She owns the interior design community, also a very large community, and her moderator group is like something like 9 or 10 people, and that's a whole other phenomenal discussion, because she took that community and built like almost an organization around it. But yeah, talking about moderation, there's a lot,
yeah,
a lot to do, a lot of work.
Well, I just realized that it's 45 minutes after the hour. I can't believe it's just. I could just keep talking with you guys for another hour, but I probably should wrap this up. So let's just do a quick round. If you were talking with a new client and they were asking you about Google Plus, or should I do a collaborative book, or what should I be doing on Facebook, what would be your ninja tip that you would give them? Your number one ninja tip. So who wants to start?
I can start.
Okay.
So my ninja tip, if you're just starting out, is really to focus on the list building. It's just make sure that you have a landing page, and you can drive traffic over to it from Facebook. You can use Facebook ads to target so well, and the free opt-ins and freebies work really well on Facebook, and just you can bring highly targeted traffic over to whatever you're offering. So that's and you can measure it so specifically with website conversion ads and things like that, conversion pixels, and remarket to people. So I get excited about ads.
Okay. Ooh, that is exciting. Okay, Mitch, how about how would you break into becoming a collaborative author if you wanted to go that route and have a book under your belt?
I'll tell you what, speaking of collaboration, I think my ninja tip for anybody starting out, from my perspective, is find a great partner who does things you can't do. My entire book collaboration career started with an idea with a partner who was a fabulous writer. I was an entrepreneur, I was an idea person, and I was a therapist. She was a brilliant writer. We put these two things together, and she was completely unknown. You don't have to find some huge name who's unavailable. It could be someone in your community right now who has this skill, you have this skill. Start connecting with how you can work together, and it could explode into something that could be bigger than you imagine.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that. Find somebody who's got complementary skills to you. You don't have to be doing the same thing. So I really think that's a great piece of advice there, Mitch. Okay, Mr. Stepan.
I'm going to piggyback a little bit on what Andrea's saying. If you're going to get involved, at least on Google+, get your house in order. So like Andrew was saying, get that offer put together up on your website. Come up with some different ways where you can market it. That's really, really important. I would bring that also over to your Google Plus page, and definitely get your whole profile set up. It's hysterical because the reason I started on Google Plus was because I was sick of all of the articles that say 10 ways to dominate LinkedIn, and then you go read it and it's fill out your profile. So it's really comical that my big tip is to fill out your damn profile.
I guess there's a reason for that.
Like, I want to shoot myself now for this one. But, it's the truth. And my About tab has now turned into a resource for myself that I use regularly. And the funny part is that other people use it too. Like, they tell people, oh, you're new to Google Plus, go to Stepan's About tab. Now, what I have on my About tab is a bunch of links on the bottom of resources and helpful, things like that. Posts that I've written, posts other people have written. But the first part they see is the part that leads them to my Pro Tips books. And so I have an opportunity now when somebody else or myself is directing you over to my profile for more information. I now have an opportunity to capture them as a lead. And so that's how I'm doing it without necessarily advertising. But you can also use your cover photo for that. And I mean, there's so many other ways that you can introduce marketing. But you can't do any of that until you have your house in order and you start. Then you go, you start mingling like I was talking about before. So there you go. There's my ninja tip.
Perfect. I love you guys' ninja tips. So as we wrap it up, I want to remind you, I hope you can see this, cover me up, that Success Secrets of the Online Marketing Superstars is available. Please grab your copy. You'll get like way more super ninja tips if you when you get the book. Lots and lots of great stuff from Andrea, from Stepan, from Mitch, and the other 20 authors. There's 23 chapters, right, Mitch?
Yep.
Okay.
And 12 audios at onlinemarketingsuperstars.com.
Right, and you can get 12 audios from some of the authors at onlinemarketingsuperstars.com. So please go and do that. This is a great resource, this book. So I want to thank you for being with me here today, Stepan, Mitch, Andrea. I just loved this discussion. I think it was really fun. I love being on Hangouts with people
let's just hang out all day.
Admire. I know. I just love it. And Andrea, going to your point that you were making before, I mean, we're creating content right now, right?
Right.
And we're having fun doing it.
Go share this. Gotta go.
Exactly. That's what I love about Hangouts. So, and then it'll be on YouTube. So, and then Mitch can go watch it and share it.
Yeah.
So anyway, folks, thank you for being on the Hangout with us today live. I really appreciate you spending some time with us today. You can get advance notice of future guests by going to adventuresinvisibility.com. If you prefer to take Adventures in Visibility with you. It's also available as a podcast. You can go to adventuresinvisibilitypodcast.com and get it on iTunes, Stitcher, or SoundCloud, whichever you prefer. So thank you again for being with us here today. Have an adventurous day. Thank you.